Now it's time to talk about delusion or realistic. Or as the kiddos say, big dreamin', brah. He's Delulu.
Now, Cam Jordan, a very likable NFL star. New Orleans Saints was on the NFL Network within the last week. As we all get ready for the NFL draft, we're trying to figure out, what team is going after a quarterback. Is there any more clarity in New Orleans as far as what they're doing with Derek Carr? As you said yesterday, Danny G, he's busy doing videos on YouTube about electric Bentleys or whatever he's doing, Rolls Royces.
Yeah, it's Rolls Royce. So a lot of the mock drafts now have the Saints selecting a quarterback with their pick.
Yeah, so you got to ask yourself, where are the Saints at? And my answer,
where's your Saints at?
Last year when we did our preseason predictions, and I'm not a big prediction guy. I like gambling like everyone else does. But in the studio, we have our annual little chart. And, we pick Super Bowl winner, MVP. We all make our fun little predictions to see if anyone at the end of the year is close to being right. Last year, when it came to worst team in the NFL, that was one of the categories, I was quick to be like, Saints! And if you remember, they won their first, 2 games. I'm like, oh, damn. Look at that. Not too shabby. But then they ended up
5-12.
5-12.
And you said the whole time you didn't believe that they were a good team.
But they weren't the worst. The Patriots were worse. The Raiders were worse.
But
they were the worst in the NFC South.
I look at it this way. I thought all along they were the worst, and I feel like I was right.
They were tied for last in the NFC South, to be accurate, because the Panthers were also 5-12.
Yeah. Now, Rich Rattler got in and played, and Saints fans weren't exactly happy with what they saw. So to clarify, there were some mock drafters who already had the Saints maybe taking Shedeur Sanders if he's still on the board. It's going to be really interesting because there are some analysts who think the Saints really need to move up to get one of the top 2 quarterbacks in this draft.
Well, it doesn't matter what we think. One of the lone star players on the team, one of the only people that I think is a bright spot, Cam Jordan was on the NFL Network. And he said something to the effect of when healthy. And I have to say when healthy because that was part of the deeper conversation he had.
And that's a key point, though.
He said, quote, I think we have a team when healthy that's top 2 in the league. Top 2 in the league.
He said winning. He also said that winning the NFC South was attainable. And I think that's a positive outlook.
Well,
why not?
when
healthy, you have to have some sort of belief in your team, or else why are you playing?
When I hear that part of it, that's a little more like, oh, well, now you're talking. The winning the NFC South is attainable because
the Buccaneers are in your way, but it's not like they're superstars.
They're not the Eagles.
Right,
they're not the Chiefs.
Eagles.
They're
they
not the Buffalo.
10-7. They're a scrappy, tough team.
It's not like the Saints are in the AFC North where everyone's pretty damn good. That is a trash division, so I do think it's attainable.
Definitely attainable.
It's not like Atlanta disappointed a lot of people last year. Tampa and Baker, that's a good team, but a couple injuries, a couple things go wrong. That team could easily slide under 500. And the Panthers, you're assuming that is this the year Bryce Young and that team gets it together? So NFC South attainable. Yeah, that's not crazy talk, but when healthy, a top 2 team.
As far as right now before the season starts, and when you preface it with when healthy, I don't think they're delusional at all. I think they can take the NFC South. When healthy.
I will say something you said. I don't even think you realized it was smart. You just said it.
What do you think? You think I don't think before I talk? That's
no,
you.
It's like, sometimes like a clock. A broken clock is still right twice a day.
You're the broken clock.
So you said something. I don't even think you realized it was smart.
Sure.
You said that when no game has been played yet, anyone can really say anything because you're right. It's not like midseason where your team's 20 games under 500. Like, I think we're great, but you're not great.
In other words, if you're leading into a fight, right, and it's press day, you should have this belief that I'm going to knock this guy out in the 3rd round. This guy's a chump. He's a bum. I'm here to win, man. I had the best camp. I'm here to train. That's the confidence you need and that every athlete should have, and that's why they're professionals, right? But if he still has the attitude after he got his ass knocked out, after they stopped the fight in the 3rd round, you're like, well, this guy's delusional.
Yeah. Listen, if it's
or if it's a decision, he's like, I still won that fight, even though every judge had him losing. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not buying that anymore. You lost.
It went the distance. He lost 11 rounds to 1. He's like, yeah, I think I still won that fight.
Yeah, having that attitude heading into things, I think that's where you need to be as a competitor.
I'm glad you said that, because until something happens, we as fans got to be real for a second and say, we don't know as much as the personnel, the coaches, and the people actually there. That's why every year when the NFL draft happens, you're going to hear blowhards like Mel Kiper and these. Is that a vampire or Mel Kiper?
1, 2, 3 downs.
First pick, 1, 2, 3.
3 picks. I think it's the count. Yeah.
When you hear blowhards talking about the NFL draft and they think they got it solved, like this guy's going to be a bust.
I think Mel Kiper's a blowhard. I think he's like a know-it-all kind of guy.
Same thing, though. Okay,
no, blowhard. I could. We work with a few of them.
Okay, you're right. I'm sorry. My apologies. Know it all, but then again, that's part of the charm, I guess, right?
It is.
But there's guys that act like, here's my draft board. I got it right, and it's like every year, without fail, it's like good, bust, 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 good, bust, bust. Oh, good player. Ooh, late round guy. Wow, that Lamar Jackson slipped that far, but yet, they took Mitch Trubisky. Every year, it's. No one really knows until a game is played. And I bring that up because as a Mets fan, going into the season, I was very excited about the lineup. I'm like, Lindor, Soto, Alonso, Vientos, Nimmo. Like, this is the Mets' best lineup, maybe. Covino, hear me out. Maybe ever. It might be the best Mets lineup ever. And I said, you know what the weakness is? Starting pitching. And I saw the coaching staff be like, man, the starting pitching is going to be sick. And I'm like, delusional. Meanwhile, the Mets are in first place right now. The lineup's cold as hell, and the Mets have the best team ERA in baseball. So,
yeah, hold on.
Because I remember thinking, like, wait, you're trying to tell me?
Because you don't know.
You're trying to tell me Clay Holmes, Tyler McGill, Peterson, Canning, and Senga, that's your elite rotation? Meanwhile,
as a Mets fan, Rich, can I remind you of Jacob deGrom? Because, again, people are saying Cam Jordan's delusional to think that they could win the NFC South and that they're going to have a good team. He said when healthy, he believes it. Perhaps he knows some things. He's on the team.
Yeah.
Plus, he's taking a leadership role.
And we've talked about
injuries, hold on.
Right?
I call this the Jacob deGrom theory. We laughed. You laughed as a Mets guy when he said he was leaving the Mets to play for the Rangers because he believed in their winning attitude and winning culture. We're like, the Rangers? We laughed about it. Like, man, what is he? Is he delusional? Is he just feeding us lines here? But perhaps he knew something that we didn't. In fact, he did.
The Rangers
Jacob
won.
deGrom and Creed took that team to a championship.
And even without him, because he was hurt.
But you thought he was delusional when he said it.
It was a delusional thought that it was like, oh, you know what? Maybe he does know more than we know. So always keep that in mind. So, you know what? With that said, I wish Cam Jordan and the Saints all the luck in the world. And it would be pretty funny if that team had a winning record, did surprise everyone, and Cam Jordan could be like, yeah, I knew it.